convince Epic Games that I want to play Unreal Engine. So basically, I want to have like, so I have some stuff here, my index stuff, my wife tracker and my controller, and I have another wife tracker. One will go on the camera, and one just will be like on my hand, like this, and then I want to have my stream chat up here, like a transparent screen capture of my Twitch chat, so I can just like pretend I'm looking at this and read the messages because it's funny, and do all other crazy stuff because I don't know. I like to be interactive because, for instance, I have my fog machine that can be controlled via the chat, and all my lights can be controlled from the chat. And I also want to have some CG elements that I want to control with the chat. So yeah, and for that it's I think it's a bit complicated to set up because of the capturing the tracking of the camera and another tracker. Tracking itself is not complicated, but matching up the position in real life and the position in camera is, yeah, well, the hard part. And I usually use Live for that because it just comes with a calibration tool. You can say, okay, here and here, and then the controller is perfectly mapped in my hand to do mixed reality. But that's not that easy to do with also OWL, because it's also compositing there. It's a lot of compositing, and I don't know. I have a beefy computer, but I don't know if it will handle everything at once. I haven't tried that yet. Wasn't able to get so far.
Yeah, performance is definitely also always a bit of a bottleneck, but yeah, I can try it out and see how far you get, really, you know. So are you doing? So you're doing your real self.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a media plate, like a talent media plate.
Yes.
And then are you keying in real time as well?
Yes, I do. I wanted to use NVIDIA Broadcast, but I'm not sure anymore because I don't know if I can get the keyed out version and the non-keyed out version at the same time without latency, because I want to overlay them, because I don't want my background to be gone. I want the background to be the same, but I just want to have the cut-out version of myself in front of me, so it doesn't change the appearance, but I can put stuff behind me, and the mask of that doesn't need to be perfect, so I don't need a green screen right now. But yeah, just to have like the chat behind me sometimes. I have absolutely no idea how I will do that, but maybe I will at some point.
Nice.
Just a thought, throwing it out there. I've done this before. You could it doesn't look as good, but you can use a still image of your room with you not in frame.
Yeah.
Just use that as a background. You wouldn't have any of the animations, or you could record a loop of all your lights in the background moving around, and then just play that on a loop, and that could be your background. And then use the AI to remove the background and just overlay you on the top of it.
I mean, that's generally a good idea, but the problem is my lights are like really dynamic. I have fog and everything. I have like a bubble machine, and yeah, wait, so fog.
Right, nice.
And that's not working because the lights also are blending when the fog is there, and yeah. I mean, I can cut myself off with like NVIDIA Broadcast or something, but the main problem is just the performance, that it's sometimes one frame behind, one frame ahead, and I can't sync them perfectly up. So probably I will just stay to have everything in front of me until I have a better solution. But the main issue is to right now to overlay two things at once. I can quickly share my screen if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
By the way, I'm still working, so if I'm a little bit was heißt abgelenkt? If I'm a little bit, I don't know.
Multitasking.
Yeah, multitasking. It's sorry, I'm
Same-
German. My
same here.
English is sometimes is a little bit.
No, it's good.
Generally, I speak pretty good English. I would assume. I never had something bad about it, but
Yeah. 100%.
sometimes I just struggle with some words. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, you and Virtual Steve sound like you have quite similar studios, so it's really good that you're both
Yeah, I'm
in
doing
this chat right now.
I do a virtual reality live stream as well. Justin, yeah. So I'm doing. What I do though is because I do camera movements inside my background's completely virtual.
oh,
So what I've come up with this method of kind of like making myself look like a hologram, which kind of,
that's nice.
I think it helps with the immersion for when the camera's moving, because then it gives you a reason that, okay, why is he a 2D plane cut out?
yeah,
Why is he not?
that's a nice
posed?
idea.
And then I can do something too where like once the camera goes static and then I have it mapped to my in-world camera placement, then I can remove the hologram effect. So if I want to just look like I'm in the environment,
That's
but
nice.
obviously without the hologram effect on, if you're doing camera movements, it just looks strange. I think you could do subtle camera movements. I want to experiment with that, like a subtle like camera moves in and out just a little bit to give it some kind of like almost like a handheld or dynamic movement. I think as long as you're not changing the angle too much, I don't think you'll get too much parallax. Some
Yeah.
more compositing people would probably know.
You can get away with a
Yeah,
little
better.
bit for sure, yeah. And then also like I've done this thing where your plane can always face the camera, which does
Yep.
add
Yeah.
a nice element, but only if you're kind of turning your head at exactly the same in the same kind of way, you know. It can also just still look quite parallaxy, but I know quite a lot of virtual production softwares, the standard thing is to have like a billboard which always faces the camera, which does
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then
give a bit more immersion.
I actually have done some compositing. Right. I actually made a short movie
Awesome.
inside Unreal Engine and mixed reality. It looks like shit, but it's a proof of concept, and I just started using Unreal Engine, so I have 8K ground textures like an idiot. You don't even see the textures on camera because they are way too quality. I don't know. Sometimes I have weird choices.
There's
And-
definitely a steep learning curve with stepping into games
Yeah.
making engines over just something like Blender or something, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Things like
especially
resources.
you need a really beefy computer because I have a 3090, but I had like 24 of 24 gigs of VRAM used while I was rendering. It was a little bit rough, but in generally, I used the compositing plane without OVL. I didn't even know that existed back then. But in general, the compositing doesn't look that bad. I mean, it looks bad because of the rendering issues I had. But in general, like, this is what I wanted to do, but just in real time. And it's rough. It's hard to do.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of optimization stuff for sure. Cool.
Yeah.
So you got your screen sharing now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you can see
Were
you've
you
got
using
two planes
OBS
set
as
up.
well, Justin?
Yes, I already I set it up like that it automatically switches to my camera. It's pretty nice. So it's already the virtual environment, and I don't know why I can see the plane when I put something through here, but I just know it until now. But yeah, that's funny that happened. But yeah, so this is my screen capture. And it's a media plate where I need to fix that media source. Yeah, okay. So I want to have this media plate on the camera showing what's on the screen. I would need to scale that down, but yeah. But it's not showing. It should be there in my camera right now, but it's not there. And
Sure.
I don't know why.
So, yeah, so your setup is really quite simple, isn't it? It's just a media plate with you on it,
Yeah.
and then a second media plate with some kind of background, some kind of imagery. Yeah.
And preferably some other media plates in the future.
Mhm.
If I want to like have floating windows instead of screen sharing in my streams, maybe I just have floating window here and show something instead of actually having my screen, because it looks just nicer. And
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually not a massive performance impact to have multiple just media planes coming in. It's mostly the CG captures and masks and mats and stuff that really take the resources.
Okay.
Oh, could I see you just switched that then, didn't you? So you in your OBS.
No, I
Your stream is
didn't.
that?
I have it set up that the spout is over it, so I have my camera there, and
Okay.
then the spout, and if I start Unreal Engine and the project, it automatically switches.
Oh, very cool,
Nothing.
very cool.
And
Okay.
because my camera is actually upside down because it's hanging on like an arm, I need to have my virtual camera on, otherwise you would see me upside down, and that's
Oh, right. Yeah.
unpleasant.
Got you. Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's best for either I can explain it in your project or I can show you how I have it set up in mine. So like if you maybe it might be more clear for people watching as well if I show it in this one just quality wise and stuff like that. So I just need to start this up again quickly. So you're basically looking at composite. Sorry.
I'm
Go on,
just curious
Steve.
are you live streaming and gaming on the same PC at the same time?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just very curious about that because I would imagine you're going to hit some kind of performance bottlenecks. Because I use PlayStation VR2 when I get my owl set up.
I mean, right now it's not the most demanding thing. It's fine, I guess. I have enough resources now,
Okay.
and also streamed with it, but idling in the background, and it was fine. It's really good really good quality. Like if I zoom on myself, it's still a good quality, and I really like that because I had the media plate, the play media plate, and I think it was the anti-aliasing, which just looked awful when I was closer at myself, and I don't know. This one was really clean.
Nice.
Maybe I would win.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big reason why we're going down this whole composure route. And I mean, hopefully down the line, eventually, we might not even have to meddle with all of this compositing stuff and find some kind of back end way so that it's just clear. It's doing all of this in the background, so it makes the workflows a bit quicker. But yeah, that's avoiding that anti-aliasing issue was a massive kind of drive for that. So like I feel like this setup that I've got here in the studio, if you can see my screen now, so I've got these two, this would be you essentially, the cat, and then this screen in the background would be your second screen. Is that sort of similar to what you're doing?
Yes, that's exactly what I want, but like how did you manage to have the video plane replaced with the actual picture? Like you can see only in the camera.
Like in here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of a second thing I've got going on where. Oh, sorry, we got someone. Francolius, could you mute yourself, please? Or I'll mute, Okay. Is he muted for everyone now? Or is that just for me?
I can hear him, it's okay though.
Cool. The server mute, I think that's the one. Should be muted now. Cool. Just drop us a message, Francolius, if you wanna chat, and I won't mute you, but that's cool. What I tend to do is have a in CG version running at exactly the same time because that just gives me like a bit of reflection, Sometimes if you've got reflective materials, you can kind of see it. But in the final comp, this will always be the nice non-anti-aliased footage will always be overlaid after. You sometimes do get a little bit of like artifacting around the edges, where, especially if your performance starts reaching like bottlenecks, they can sometimes be a little bit out of sync, but for the most part, it's pretty damn good. And how I do that is I'll just start with this media plate where I'll do the keying. So this is literally just doing my keying. So transform pass, keying, despill, erode, and that's all I'm using. These are just kind of, there's a cropping one there as well, color grade. But then, so after I've done my keying on that, I'll then output this to a render target. So this render target still carries that alpha channel, and that's all good. And yeah, so from Composure you can do your keying and everything, and then you can output this to a render target. And this render target, you could then go and create a material from that, and that's what's going into this in CG element. So that'll give you some reflections and stuff. It does come with a performance impact. So if you like don't need it for your final image, it's kind of it can be better to just like run it in this. But this here that this cat is on is it's a blueprint that I've made, but it just inherits from the video plane placement. So it is essentially just one of these video plane placement actors, but I've just changed the material. And so you know I said I pumped out that render target. That's what this material is doing here. Just taking that same render target as an input. And this is there's a few little additional things here, but really the simplest form of this is you just need a material that takes in your render target and just puts that out to emissive color or whatever, and then any additional stuff you can look at doing, and have some tutorials and stuff about that. So essentially it goes media plate, you do your keying, pump that out to render target goes to material, which goes to your in CG element here. But then for my video plane placement, I've got a second media plate, and this is what I was saying, media plates don't have too much of a performance impact. This second media plate, I think it has to be a child here, I'm not sure, me and Tom Funk were talking about that, but this just takes in that same render target that was on the output of there. So this takes that in, and then the only transform pass I'm doing for this is my video plane placement. Okay. So then in my whole comp, the input element for my talent 1 is this second one, basically. So yeah, that's how I have it in the actual CG and in here at the same time. Again, you can just download this project, and it will have this level, which is doing all of this for you. So you can download this project and like swap in your own footage if that's easier. But yeah, that's sort of the workflow for that. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I mainly focus on learning everything by myself instead of using a project that already done.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just want to start, but I want to learn how everything works, because it's really interesting,
Mm.
and especially you know a lot of Unreal Engine stuff. And I also still struggle with like having milky glass in front of me in these like in CG element, because it just doesn't show post-processing, I guess. I wasn't able to watch the video yet, or find path, where it actually is, because it's like 40 minutes live stream or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
will look into that.
So yeah, like behind transparent-ish materials is another cool thing you can do, but again, it is a performance cost again, and it's cool. It's definitely cool, but you have to kind of pick and choose when you want to do it. Definitely. Especially performance being the main thing. It's sort of for transparent materials. Again, it kind of comes into using this in CG element. So, well, for me, this is like a somewhat hacky solution I've found. I don't know if I can like set it up like right away, but you would essentially have like a an object, say a cube, with like some, you know, glass material like that. So yeah, something like that. And then so I actually might be able to do this if I add this to this. So I've got this like this 3D mask is what I'm using to make this cat look like it's behind the table. So wherever objects that have this in are the like, you know, it's just black, just a mask that says where this table is, put CG over the top of the cat. So you can kind of do the same thing with this milky glass, and then if I hate this, you can't click on transparent materials, which is so weird. But if I find cube, I guess cube 900. There we go.
There's a setting for that, by the way.
Oh really? Awesome.
For selecting transparent, yeah. Can be
Oh,
in
yeah.
sometimes too.
Is that in project settings? Yeah.
Yeah, it might be.
Nice, nice.
Editor settings, maybe.
Cool, cool. So yeah, I can add this to this same mask layer set. Yeah, that should be correct. And then you do have to refresh this. This is just a little bug where you have to set this to exclude then include.
Ah, yeah, I already figured it
Yeah. And then, you know, so this 3D mat here is basically telling you any element that's in here is going to be in front of any kind of media plates I've got.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully in the comp now you get the kind of effect of them being behind this glass.
Ah.
And this is because wherever this is, it's actually using this in CG element instead.
Ah, okay, that's
Yeah,
nice. So it's using
yeah.
the object also as a mask to show the so if you like tilt your camera, you will see the tilted version of the cat in the glass and the normal version in the comp.
Yeah. I think that's the sort of thinking behind it. Yeah, but it's not spot on. Like, you know, you can see that here there's some reflection, and that'd be nice if that kind of picks that up. But the cat kind of goes through it. But yeah, it's good for quite a few use cases. Yeah.
So having like a virtual mirror would be nice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it's a little bit.
I'm looking at doing like a full tutorial for this soon, because I think there's more tweaks you can do. Because I was doing it with kind of ripply glass as well, or like glass with textures. You can kind of pick it up, but it all comes down to this, like having your in CG kind of low quality version that you can get away with using it for you know, reflections or or like behind transparency kind of thing. Yeah. But did you want to see having multiple media plates in one transform pass as well? Yeah, this would be really good to show. So yeah, this is essentially the setup you want, isn't it? Like 2 media plates in one. What I'd do is, I guess just showing you the transform pass would help with this. This is how I have it set up. It's really simple. I've just got the matte elements. So, you know, this is, as I showed earlier, those, you know, the desk and the person, anything that's in front of the cat, that's fine. And it really is just, so CG, that's my viewport capture, or my camera capture. Going into the first overnode, and I start with the screen that's at the back. So this is this screen, and that's going over my CG first off, and then that is being masked first time, and then that whole image. So I can show you that image if I just like drag that in there. that will look like this. You can see I've got the one screen, but my talent, you know, my cat is not yet composited on, but the screen is, you know, masked behind elements, and that's all good.
Yeah.
And then all this second overnode is doing is just saying, right, everything that I've got there, I'm now going to put the cat over it as well, but I'm going to make sure my foreground elements are still in front, you know. So that's just the second media plate there.
Where is that material again? On which element?
This is my main transform pass for my whole comp here. So
Yeah, for the comp. So my CG material looks kind of similar, I guess. So I also have like the
yeah, should we have a look at yours and
medias?
see how that compares?
Yeah,
cool.
I have it here.
Nice.
It looks a bit rough, but I'm still learning.
Yeah, that looks about the same. Yeah. Okay. What I would say is it looks like your background needs to go into the first overnode because you're starting with background. I mean, maybe if you want to like make a copy of the material or something, so you don't lose what you've got already.
Yeah, sure, but good idea. Give me a minute. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So I mean the first the background on the first overnode.
Yeah, so that should go into
B?
the B of the first one, I think. Yep. So owl media, is that one of your? Is that your
That's
screen?
the talents.
That's the talent. Okay,
That's
cool. So
the, yeah, I should rename them.
no, good. Yeah. So the talent one wants to be in that second overnode in the A slot.
1 second. Okay, again, please.
Yeah, so that one, media talent, if that can go into the second overnode, the one closest to the output, in the A, in the A slot.
Okay, yeah.
Because you want to be overlaying the talent at the end of everything else, basically. Yeah, nice.
RGB or RGBA? I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, because it needs float fours, so it needs that RGBA. Yeah. And then that can go in there. Then your screen, media screen, goes in there. And then your matte can go in there, and then also in the first over as well, or else your screen is going to be over the top of everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the matte goes also in the.
Also in the over of that one. Yeah, that's how I've done it.
I think that was the problem I had actually.
Yeah, because it will. Yeah, you just need to make sure both of the media plates are having that same mask input, I think.
So I've done that now.
Yeah.
So I have the media screen. The media
Yeah,
column,
nice. Okay. Random notification. Thanks Discord for interrupting the stream with the random notification.
Oh, that was me. I discovered something.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
In the chat, there's a soundboard. You can make sounds.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
Someone says
Okay.
a funny joke.
Nice.
Okay, so I
Checking it out.
have that
Cool.
now.
Okay, cool. So what's your output looking like now?
You're seeing it in Discord.
Yeah.
I can. Composition looks like that. So
Right.
nothing really.
Is that Could you pop that window out, the main comp window, so it can?
Sure.
Yeah, nice. So is that the position of your camera or something? Is it this off-world camera that is the main camera for you?
It's the one I'm using.
Yeah, cool,
that's
cool.
really
But in Composure, the camera that's seeing your composition kind of thing. So if you go to your yeah, like this one, yeah. So if you kind of move that one around or like pilot it and move it around maybe. Nice, yeah. So you're getting. Can you maybe move it out so you can see both media plates?
Sure.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So your second bit of media that you want to get in,
Yes.
that wants to go there, I guess, right? Yeah. So it looks like you might. Do you have the video plane placement set up for that second piece of media? You mean in the screen, the
yeah. Pass?
Yeah. Transform pass. Do you have you got that video plane placement. Have you definitely got the right plane selected in there, maybe?
Should be.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool.
That doesn't make sense. I checked it multiple times, but okay.
All good, yeah. Sometimes it just
Okay,
needs like
thanks.
telling 3 times, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's getting somewhere, isn't it?
That's looking good.
Yeah, yeah.
I just need to overlay it other inverted, so it's in front. Couldn't I just put it in the CG mask and it would be in front?
Yeah, you can even just change, if you want to switch those over, you could even just change the drop downs. Is that right? Like you want, oh sorry, I've got sirens going on. 1 second.
What the fuck?
Cool. So you want to be in front of your screen though, right? Anyway, so that is the right order compositing wise for what you want.
No, I want to be in the front and have my screen overlay on myself and not behind myself.
Okay, cool.
So I could block the view with it, basically.
Okay, yeah, nice. So if you go to the material, you could swap those inputs. Or even just in that comp, you could change the drop-down names. You know, just swap those two. It's the quickest way to do that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But, you know, if you want to do it more organized, you can just change the material, the transform path, so that you are going into the first overnode, and then your screen is going into the second overnode. Yeah.
I will probably do that.
Yeah, nice.
How can I scale that down without...
Quick question.
Yeah, hey Tom.
Hey, so is he upside down just because he's rotated the placement plane?
And no, my camera is actually upside down. My rig, like I'm using an DSLM, like an A7 III on my with like a mounting arm, and that's why the camera is upside down. And I haven't.
Okay, so you've rotated the feed in your regular feed, but it's physically upside down.
Yeah, it's physically upside down. That's right. I don't know yet where I need to really rotate it. Probably where before it's like the spout capture. I already like rotated that one, but
I got you.
Not rotated.
So it's actually because it's relevant to a question I have, and that is that I want to try to figure out how I can take my camera, rotate it 90 degrees, and basically shoot portrait, but have the feed come into Unreal so that it's vertical, right? So if I physically rotate my camera, Unreal doesn't know that.
So you're sending like iPhone footage in, basically, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, not, because actually if it were an iPhone, it would have like a portrait mode, I believe, that it would send the video and Unreal would know that it's that, you would set it to that aspect ratio. But no, I'm talking about just like a regular video camera that normally would shoot landscape, right? But I'm just physically rotating it so that I'm shooting portrait.
Okay.
And I want to be able to have that, but you know, Unreal doesn't know that, it's still seeing it as landscape. And I can't just rotate the video. I could rotate the plane, I assume, if I were using the AL plane like this. And that way, essentially that way I could have a person standing in front of the camera, in front of a green screen, and I'm getting them full body without having to have a really wide lens and you know, weight
You're
the size of the image.
making the most out of your resolution that way as well, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes a lot of sense, but I haven't figured out how to rotate it inside of Unreal properly, although I assume I can just rotate the plane itself. I was actually going to try this afternoon, but I figured I'd ask here. I don't want to interrupt though. If I think I interrupted with he was in the middle of this, so
I'm already done basically. It's like
okay.
what I wanted.
Yeah.
In the middle of it.
It's cool to
I mean,
see
it needs to be
you're
still
having fun moving the
transparent,
planes
but-
around now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly how I wanted it. I mean,
Nice.
now I just need to have like a possibility to put it behind me when I'm having an alpha mask on. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that should be straightforward.
I mean, yeah, just to finish off your point, Tom, I would say that rotating that video plane placement plane is totally, I feel like that would be great for that. I think that would work. Let me know how you get on with that if there's any other things that come up, but for me it sounds like that would just fix that, you know. That's what
That
the
should work straightforward. The problem is, of course, that I have a tracked camera and I want to be able to use that.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
for
yeah.
this, yes, absolutely. Rotating the plane, I think that's the easy solution. But
What about
ideally,
in that case using a rotate function in the material? So I think there's a MF rotator, material function rotator, and just put 90 degrees into that material and do that as a transform pass in the actual material. Is that another way you could?
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have a look at doing that specifically, and as well. That's a really cool thing to look into, because yeah, totally gets way more resolution out of it.
You know, amazingly helpful, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
for what I'm doing at least.
Cool. Yeah, I'll look into that
Even
for sure.
other people. I mean, you know, how many people are gonna? Anyway.
Well, yeah, a lot of people shooting just a standing model, yeah, so definitely. Cool. So yeah, one really easy fix for making, so you basically want to make the video feed disappear, right, don't you, on cue, Justin?
Well, so I basically, let's say right now I'm 1 meter away from my camera, maybe like a half meter, and I want to, if I move I want to set like a point where it begins to go behind me, like
Oh,
cut out
right.
here, to have my chat behind me, or object that I show. I mean, that will transform the plane, the screen recorder here. So if I move it around, the plane will move around, and I want to move the plane behind me, so it disappears behind me, so I can
Ooh.
like, you know,
Yeah,
like
wow.
mixed reality Beat Saber style.
That sounds a little more complicated, but that's really cool. I love
Yeah,
the sound of that.
that's-
Yeah.
It is complicated because
Yeah.
you need to technically I would need to like put that on my head to have made permanently tracks to have
Yeah.
the distance to my camera, and I need to put one of those on my camera.
Yeah.
But that will be fine.
Yeah, I think I could
And-
advise on like the general workflow that I would probably look into first, but I have never done this, so you know it's yeah. But I would say maybe try and get this in-game CG version set up.
Yeah.
But only using it for so with CG elements, you can do a visualization type, which is, you might want to do this. So you can do a distance, scene depth, visualization type, and that will create a black and white mask based on the depth in your scene, you know.
That's cool.
And then you can do some kind of shader magic to say, you know, if this is white, then the screen disappears. If it's black, then the screen is visible. There'd be something there, I think.
That's neat.
Or also you could just use, like take this and use a matte, which might take a layer set, say, just call this like cat foreground for now. And is that added to that?
It's a cute cat, by the way.
Thanks, yeah. Relieve stress while I'm working on this stuff. Massively. And then like cat foreground. Okay, that's not liking that. Let's try create a new one. You can probably see where I'm going with this. Like, so you get the shape of your. So because you are green screening yourself, are you as well?
I will like AI.
AI,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. So you could take sort of the alpha channel that is created from that AI kind of image. Why is it not coming up? It's really weird. Have I added anything else to this layer? Maybe another way to do it would be, so kind of taking, so when you do this external key, do you get an alpha channel with your
I can
image?
get one, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
I can, I mean, not really alpha mask, but since I'm already transparent, I can just use myself as an alpha mask. I can do some made shader stuff.
Yeah. So it would be something like that, like taking this black and white image, you know, that's what I was essentially trying to find, like, like here, if you have this, got it again, just the alpha, right? If you have this, then you have, you know, something that's telling your video plane when it's at a certain distance, then use this as the, you know, in the over node you have the mask input.
Yeah.
When it's, so when your Vive tracker is moving your plane behind a certain distance, you would do something to do with combining that scene depth thing I showed you, and it's like when it gets to that depth, then stencil this. Again, like we'd have to look at it like really specifically. But really cool idea. Really cool idea.
It's basic mixed reality, but it's in general complicated because a lot of things play into that, because you have like absolute relative position of trackers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, true. Maybe you could have like a thing where it's like, if that, so like your absolute, like you'd have a vector, wouldn't you, with the absolute world position. If the value, say like if the X value goes above a certain number, then you know, set visibility to 0. Something like that. Yeah. Just very vague.
Basically, I also wanted to like rebuild my room inside Unreal Engine just to match the lighting, so the CG elements looks a bit more real. I won't be able to do it that greatly because lighting. I'm not a lighting expert, and I could like put everything on there, but it will never look at like nearly realistic enough. So,
Yeah. So what, make a CG like copy of the room, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
In
yeah.
CG elements to relight it, but relighting something is horrible. I watched a lot of videos.
One of my ideas has been to use a 4K TV as a light source from within the scene. So with ICVFX, when people are doing, LED volume production, they'll use what's called a wild wall, right? So they have a wall of LED screens that's portable, it's movable, so that if you want more light on the talent from the side, right, you can just bring it over, but the position of it is used within end display to give accurate lighting from that position relative to the talent. You see what I mean? And so what I've been thinking is there a way to kind of do this using just a 4K television for for lighting onto talent against a green screen, which is how I'm shooting, and have it where I don't need end display to run that. I could instead use something like media capture or something like that and position it. So point being, you could potentially have, a light beside you, a screen beside you, and then drive that screen for environmental lighting.
I mean, I will use ArtNet and DMX for that. So like to create in-game lights, and I have my DMX software where I can control everything, and I can just put it there. Or just one of my lights is actually in just an ESP32 with an LED light in it via ArtNet. So you could potentially build your own light, or just use an SDK of a light if you have that. If you have like fancy light,
that's really cool.
DMX.
Fair enough. Well, I guess the point of doing with a TV is to get just much more detailed lighting.
Yeah,
that's for me. I'm doing kind of virtual production with tracked camera and lens and blah blah blah, and I even want to be able to, for instance, one of the big things they of course say when you're shooting on an LED volume is that they're getting reflections, right? Yeah. Volumetric from the environment reflections on talent. So I'm looking at just a way to do that, and you're kind of limited with DMX compared to what you can do with obviously like an actual TV. So just
two different use cases, I guess, isn't it? Yeah.
Is there a way with Off-World Live to directly output to a HDMI or display port or even SDI? I guess you can just make it full window for a given screen.
Yeah. There is that definitely. Would this be off of the same machine you'd be generating this image? Like I guess
it would just be basically like capturing from a specific direction.
Yeah. Maybe grabbing another camera and outputting that. Yeah. I mean,
I have a cyc, and so I have that cyc, mapped essentially as a 3D, so I can create a garbage mat in 3D space as I move the camera around. And, it would basically be where, based on the position of that, and then I use an Aruco tag at the base of it to exactly position it to where the camera is, so I get a perfect, ish garbage mat. The point is that I have that 3D space of the cyc in Unreal Engine, so I would place the TV, or I should say the thing that's driving the TV, in the volume in that specific location.
Yeah.
Of where the TV is relative to the talent or to the setup.
What kind of tag do you use?
I'm sorry, what kind of what?
The marker, or what did you mean? Like the Maruko something?
Oh, an Aruco tag is just, it's one of those like black and white block.
Yeah, I'm interested in those. So how do you spell this?
Well, the point of it is simply to give a reference. So in other words, with a tracked camera, what you do is you use the Aruco tag to use a physical version of the Aruco tag and then a virtual version of the Aruco tag to match. In other words, like let's say I have a table, right? I can put the Aruco tag physically on top of a physical table right in the corner, and then I can have a virtual something else that's shaped like a table, right? Or it just gives me a position, in other words. So when I use it, the real camera's position relative to the real Aruco tag, that exact position and orientation and distance, etc., is matched of the virtual camera to the virtual tag.
Yeah, it's perfectly
need to
also to track objects or something. That's why I'm interested in that.
You could, but it's not really a real-time process.
Oh, okay.
It's just to match your position, and then your camera's tracked. You're just telling it where to put the virtual camera within a scene. Does that make sense?
So for like initial calibration kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a positioning technique, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely really interested in this kind of DMX setup as well. Like, what's cueing the kind of light changes in your system, Justin?
Yeah, 1 second. I can show you.
But would SDI output directly be viable?
Yes, to finish that point. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, why not? If you have an SDI, why not do SDI out? Yeah.
No, but I mean, with Off-Road Live, is there a way to directly map output to SDI versus, to OBS or to Spout or to, whatever?
Currently we don't do just like the
Really a
direct
real-time
SDI output.
process. Oh.
Currently,
I didn't understand what was
currently we don't do just like that.
really a real-time process.
Sorry, I just got some feedback there. Boo Ray Jenkins, I'm just gonna server mute for now because you just got some feedback. But just give me a shout on the chat if you want to chat on that. Yeah. Yeah. So I would lean towards like either doing. It sounds like you would need another program. Like either use like NDI. You could send out to NDI or OBS or something, and then that would send out the SDI feed. Unless, does Unreal Engine have?
I'd be afraid of latency.
Okay. Yeah. Does Unreal Engine have, like it has your Azure media input? Can you just make a media output in the same way? Because I haven't used SDI and stuff as much.
I can I can do that easily inside of Composure. Yes.
Okay.
But if I want to see, that's the thing. I was trying to bypass Composure. So, for instance, if I have an Off-Road Live camera, I can stream that, right?
Yeah.
And I can just send it to somewhere. I want to be able to send it directly to SDI.
Yeah. So can you not like take the render target that the Unreal Engine camera would give you and like add that as a like file media output? Is that possible? No. Sorry, I don't have the like. You need Blackmagic plugins and stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Surely there's a way with Unreal's media inputs and outputs and just grabbing our render target. I would say it's definitely there's got to be some combination of our render target, jumping into render target to media output. Unreal definitely surely has direct SDI out for that. I would think.
I'll take a look. I'll take a look for
Yeah.
that specifically. I kind of like had it in the back of my mind, but
Yeah.
I've got
It's not,
86 things on my list.
yeah, fair enough. It's not like a tick box that we just have as part of the toolkit, that's for sure at the moment. But I would think
Right.
render target out to something that Unreal has would be totally doable. Yeah. Nice.
Well, I don't know if you remember the suggestion I'd had, because I know several people who are using two separate systems to be able to drive their Ultimat. And the second system is just doing one thing, and that's outputting a garbage mask. And it's obviously for performance.
Yeah.
And that seems like a waste, because to me, it seems like you could have a camera, maybe a second camera that's in the exact same position and orientation, right? Just locked together. But that second camera it's only seeing the thing that is in the layer for the garbage mask, and it's not rendering the scene. It's not rendering any lighting or anything like that, because it's only seeing like, a box or whatever the thing is that you have in your, or in my case, it would be the image of the psych, right? For a garbage mat. And so it's only seeing that, it's only outputting black and white, right? One channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for some reason in Composure, it's a whole, process.
Yeah, it's a lot
even though you're only
of
getting
resources, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any real sense. So
Have you looked
was that-
into like stencil buffers for that? That could be
What is it again?
stencil buffers.
Oh, stencil.
Yeah.
Stencil layers is on my list.
Yeah, yeah. So I was working with some people recently, and they were using that for pretty much what you're talking about. They had a Ultimat, everything going out to Ultimat, and they needed just a garbage mat. And you can kind of create a stencil buffer to kind of make a custom mask, and it will just be a post-process material that is just it's what the camera is seeing or what the viewport is seeing, but then it just makes it black and white, and it's you can assign, so any object in your scene, you can go to the details and assign like a stencil buffer number. And we can go through this in more detail maybe next time or something, maybe next week. But you can do this custom depth stencil value, and then you can have a material where it's like, if it's of value, whatever number you put here, then it'll be white. If it's not, then it'll be black. It's actually a really cheap way to make a mask, especially if you're then just outputting to Ultimat for a garbage mat.
And how are they doing that with, sorry, just to be clear, that's being done within Composure, but not with the same hit?
That's outside of Composure. So
It is, okay, so
yeah.
then they still need to be able to get that out through SDI to the Ultimat.
Yes, yeah. Maybe I will double check with them and try and get this workflow really sussed for next week or something, because they also used some kind of media output as well. There's another media output. It might even be, yeah, I need to remind myself what that is, but basically it's, you can take in render targets, and I'm pretty sure they were just outputting that via SDI. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll double check on that process. That's a really cool idea. Yeah. So
I know a lot of people who would make use of that.
yeah,
'Cause
nice. Okay. Because yeah, if you have an Ultimat,
so-
it's like, surely you should be doing a lot of this outside of the
it's
rendering
so
engine.
strange.
Yeah.
It's so strange that Composure does it that way. There's zero reason for it to render. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Ultimat?
it's like resource heavy for what it's actually doing, isn't it? Really resource heavy. Yeah. Yeah, just Ultimats are external keying, standalone hardware for keying, and they kind of do a little bit of
what?
compositing as well, don't they? Yeah.
Ah, Black Magic. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah. fairly pricey stuff, kind of like in broadcast.
Actually, they have a relatively inexpensive version of it. I have the full 4K, which honestly, about a year ago was about $10,000, and you needed a $3,500 external controller. And then they dropped the price from $10,000 down to $2,500 and gave you software-only control of it for free. So the price went like 75% drop of what's of it for that. But then now they also have like a HD only version, et cetera, that's more like $500.
Yeah.
So just FYI, it's not horribly expensive relative to, well, many other things.
Like the goalposts for it seem to have shifted. Yeah. Nice.
Don't show me fancy broadcast stuff. Now we're going to buy it.
Yeah,
say
true.
last
Yeah. This is usually how these live streams end, with like just everyone just listing off things they want, you know.
Yeah.
Are you wrapping up soon, Rick? I don't know if you usually do an hour or.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, wrapping up
Okay.
fairly soon. Anything
You
else?
wanted to know how I control my DMX?
Yeah. Let's get into that. Oh, yeah. Show
Yeah,
us
I'm
that
just using
stuff.
DMX Control 3. I have like my fog machine here, my bubble machine here, so I can basically pull this up, control it over MIDI to trigger it, and I have my fog machine here, and I can also
Really
just
cool.
select all my lights and do whatever I want.
So this is just standalone software. DMX. What was it called? DMX Control 3.
Yeah, I have the beta version because just because it's not public, but they have like a club, so if you help them a little bit, you get a beta version, and it's free, and it's not. I mean, a lot of people actually use it for commercial stuff, but it's it's completely free, and it can do everything you want. And you can also
really
program plugins for it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, for one, it's really interesting because I've been working with like virtual streamers so much. It's interesting to see someone actually doing so much just in your own room, and that's really cool. It's got me thinking, like, you know, does that have implementation or implications for controlling a kind of virtual broadcast setup and things like that? You know,
I also have my project in IntelliJ, a Node.js project where, like, the Twitch SDK with Twitch SDK that listens to redeems on stream.
Yeah.
So with channel points you can trigger everything in the software. So you need to program it a little bit, but I guess you could technically also do it without if you have like LoRa dashboard, or I don't know how it's called. You could technically also do it without programming, but since I'm a software engineer, I just program because it's easier for me. Find software.
Yeah. Always amazed by software engineers. You just like, oh, I just need something that can do this, so I'm just going to write a program that does it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I was just thinking, like, you could use like real life DMX to have, you know, press a button and there's a light in front of my face, but then also in your Unreal Engine scene, that same like light in that same position would turn on. You know, that could be
that actually
effects.
works. People have done that. That's actually pretty cool and
really cool.
Nice. I mean, I also have some like time code shows. So you have like a music or a sound effect, and then you can say, okay, on that spot, disable that light or turn on that light, and it just works. And it's pretty nice. It's loading. I don't know if I can show this. Oh, okay, no. So that's like a Windows XP crash.
Hey Rick, do you mind if I just show you quick what I'm working with, just so you can maybe in a future thing cover it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, please do.
Let me share the screen.
But yeah, I think DMX is also for virtual production pretty nice, because some DMX lights are actually pretty inexpensive, but you don't get as much detail like for like a LED volume or a screen.
Yeah. But it can be good for some
Yeah.
some use cases. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, you see my
I'd
screen
love
now?
to. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Just to finish that point off, Justin. I'd love to maybe do like a whole stream on that in a couple weeks or something. You know, maybe we could figure out making DMX talk to Unreal and vice versa. It's a
Sure,
really
we can do
interesting
that.
area.
Already kinda done it.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
I tried to set
Easy.
up DMX one time and I did not know what I was doing, so I kind of gave up and put it on the
Yeah.
back shelf.
Oh yeah, there you go. Like, yeah, me too. Like, it seems like something that's well worth looking into and kind of breaking that barrier of understanding that. So, yeah, let's look at that soon. That'd be awesome. So yeah,
wanna try
Steve,
to
what's
use-
what's up with your
Okay.
scene?
So I wanted to get a bloom effect for my hologram.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it might not come across with the compression, but there is a slight bloom effect, and I'll show you how I'm doing that. I'll also show you, I'm using on a post-process
Yeah.
on the media plate here. So I have a post-process effect that enables the hologram. Let me turn off the bloom pass.
Any chances
So-
I also can get that hologram effect?
Yeah, I made it custom. It's pretty simple. You use, I think it's called Create Bands. Just creates a line, and you just kind of layer a bunch of those on top and pan them. I also have this cool displacement effect I can show too, but which gives it like a wobble effect. So I apply the post-process hologram, and then I apply the bloom,
Yeah.
and then I feed that into the comp material. So I'll open that up. And I figured out, so here's what, I'll just show what the hologram looks like on its own if I apply this. So this is what the final version of the media plate looks like with the hologram. You can see how it has the bloom applied to it.
Yeah.
But what I realized when I was making this, originally I was going with just this over node, and I was like, why is my bloom not showing up? So if we just apply this over node without the screen, because I'm using the mask from the...
You lose the edge.
of-
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Did that just... I think it just works like that too.
Hmm.
Okay, that actually seems to be working. So maybe I don't need that screen node. Seems like there's some... Okay, maybe I just... All right, so anyways,
Yeah.
this will probably still mess it up. So when I go to increase the bloom or modify the bloom, which I will do now, it gives me undesired effects, and it has to do with, I think, the way that it was screening. So maybe I fixed it here. Let's just try to increase the bloom and see. Okay, I think I fixed it.
Nice, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
do you
quickly show.
How do you apply this on the character? Like he also does it with its cat? Or?
Yeah, so in the media plane that you have in your comp, you can add the additional effects such as the transform pass, which makes it move, but then you can apply post-process effects, which essentially, if I open it up real quick, it just takes the input of the media source that's being fed into that media plate. You can use that to apply effects to. So all these effects are being applied afterwards. These are quickly just to show one. This is how you make the bands. You do generate band, and you just customize the width and move the texture coordinates to scale it. This is a really cool thing I found online. There's a tutorial for this. I'll post a link in the Discord later. But this allows me to apply a wobbly effect to the UVs. So I'll just quickly show you how that works because I think it's pretty cool. In the past, I tried. Yeah, in the past, I tried to make planes that were like subdivided and then use world displacement to displace them. But I found a way to do it with UVs. It looks pretty good. So if I go into the material, let me find my materials. I can, oh, where'd it go? I can increase the distortion strength here. I'll change it to 0.1. And you can see that's way too much.
Awesome there, yeah.
But if you put it at something reasonable like 0.025, you can have as much of a wobbly effect as you want. And you can obviously adjust the speed in that as well. but I found 0.0125 kind of gives it a little bit of that. And obviously the character's moving, so you can't really tell, but. Okay, so yeah, I solved my own problem. I don't know. I was using the
Nice.
screen
So
node. This wasn't working before.
Can we see that final transform pass just to see what, like, try and break down
Yeah.
what is actually going right with it now?
You know what I'm thinking of why this actually might still be broken? I think I know why I switched to the screen.
Yeah.
I think if I put the transparency down to 0 on this, I think I'll still get issues. So let me just test that real quick just to make sure, because I think that's the problem I was having before. All right, so this is my multiply. I don't have this as a parameter yet, but so if I set it to 1 and apply, it should be fully opaque. Okay, it is. So let's try 0.1. It should be very transparent. And it's not. Okay, so that is the issue that I'm having. And that's why I went with the screen method. That other method I had before allowed me to, if I wanted to get it quite dim. So yeah, I guess this is the issue that I'm having then. You can't really... Can't. So I'll show you real quick, then I'll go back to the other method, and I'll show you why I use that. So I think I had the mask in here, this here. So I should be able to control the transparency now, but you see, because I'm screening over with the original hologram on top of itself, you get these weird color artifacts. But now I should be able to bring this down to, this really allows me to control transparency, or at least it was before. But yeah, that's my problem. I don't know.
I would say maybe you could make a whole new material that is another effect that goes on after your hologram material, and it would just do adding just an opacity slider. So just a material that's just called like opacity. That'd be something that I would try out, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you know, in your media plate, so keeping it set up when it was like pretty much working without the screen and stuff like that, and then in your media plate, to give it a control for the opacity, it would just be a material that takes on the pre-pass and then adds, I guess you would do the alpha channel with a multiply value and just that one parameter, and that would be called opacity, and that would go into the opacity mask for that material. So just be taking the pre-pass and just adding some alpha as a separate material. That could be a way to do it.
All right.
So,
It's tricky. I think for now I'm just gonna keep it like this, and I can't dynamically control my opacity, but at least I get the end effect that I'm looking for. So. Okay.
So you basically apply alpha and like the hologram effect via post-processing?
So yeah, the hologram it's basically a post-process pass, isn't it? But you can slightly tweak a post-process material to just be a composure effect, basically. So if you want an effect on one element in your composure setup, you can set it in the transform pass section for the media plate. So you got that material.
I have a like a post-process pass or element material pass? Like
compositing element material pass. Yeah, that's right.
Element. Okay.
And then that's where you would create your material that would do whatever effect you want. So the previous stream, I could link you to the previous stream. Me and Steve broke down like exactly how to change any, take any post-process material. Like you can download cool post-process materials or whatever, and you can slightly tweak it. There's just a slight tweak you need to make it composure functioning kind of thing. So in the last live stream we did last week, we covered that. So that's
Yeah, please.
yeah,
Help a lot.
awesome. Yeah, awesome. And obviously, Steve, if you fancy sharing like your hologram material or anything like that, that'd be stuff that
Yeah, I
I'd
will.
love. I'd love to add that into the shared project. You know, all this
We,
stuff is really cool.
One quick thing too, we covered this last time. I was getting those weird edges around my screen in the background there.
Yeah.
I solved that with a quick mask. I'll show you. So this is
Cool.
without the mask applied. You see the edges.
Yeah.
Just apply the mask and it's gone. And all it
Nice.
is literally just this 1920 by 1080. I'm just getting rid of the edge pixels because for the reflections in that on the ground, you don't notice that
They're
that
slightly
background
smaller. Kind
element.
of.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me show you too. You wanted to see it moving around, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all there.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I just
Yeah.
had to find a good camera angle.
Yeah, it's an easy
You want the
fix.
gameplay obviously still to be quite large. So yeah, it's working. So yeah, I don't know. I'll tweak it more and try to figure out how I can get some better end results there. But
Mm.
everything's seems to be somewhat working as of now.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's cool
got
to
a
see like the.
Cat right on my screen, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And you got around that kind of ghosting issue that you had by the looks of it. As
No,
well.
I haven't got around the ghosting issue. If we go in editor view, it'll probably still be there. Let me turn off wireframe. But everything I'm doing is in Composure now.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
needs to be looking good, so that's
So
one
the
of the reasons I
ghosting is
went with the
only.
Composure.
Yeah.
How do I change my view?
You got that wireframe mode set by the looks of it.
Oh, view, okay, yeah.
Yeah. That one. Yeah.
Lit. So yeah, still looks like
Yeah.
junk, but for the reflections, you don't notice it, so.
Suffices. Yeah. Well, again, like
Thankfully-
that's the main reason we're going down this Composure route. You know, to get around the nasty things Unreal does to media plates when they're in CG. But yeah.
So that's all, but
Yeah.
thanks again for the input, and
Oh,
I'll
likewise.
try to.
It's
I'll
cool to see
share
that
the,
you two both have
materials
quite
now.
similar setups, so it's quite cool to see. Hopefully, both informing each other about some of these workflows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eventually I want to get to compositing with the feet showing. That's a lot trickier because you got to have the camera aligned right, and again, I'll need that. I don't know if I'll use a post or a Composure for that. I think I want to use the in editor or in runtime material. But again, with the ghosting, I gotta solve that problem first. So for now, this is going to be what.
Interesting
I'm
with how that
using.
would work with the transparent hologram effect as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the best thing I could do would somehow I can make a material that outputs the light of this hologram,
Yeah.
but maybe the material itself just wouldn't be visible in camera. So as long as I
Yeah.
can have the light from it visible still, because that's what I do here. This plane is completely transparent that it's casting to. There's no actual material on that plane. It's just a full transparent plane. So I just
What for
composite onto that plane.
for the hologram? For your. Is that right?
Yeah, the hologram is all done in Composure. There's no,
Yeah.
as you can see, there's no reflections or anything.
Yeah, and the video plane placement actor is just set to invisible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just put a material on it that just has full
Alpha.
opacity set to 0.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
do anything.
It's cool. Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah,
really
thanks.
cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing again.
And you're gonna share the material?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share them. I don't know what's the best way other than
Awesome.
a screenshot. I know isn't there a way you can share Unreal stuff? I'll put this displacement one in here as well. I'll link the YouTube tutorial that I found this too if you're curious how it works.
Sure.
The displacement thing's kind
Always
of cool.
happy to learn.
Can
And
you?
this probably can be improved. This hologram material,
Mm.
I got to tweak it, but is there a way to copy and paste blueprints? I think there's a
So there's-
program or site you can
Yeah,
use,
there's
right?
Pastebin UE, but it might break quite a few of the references and things. You can also just send a U asset as a material, and because this is all stuff that is native to Unreal Engine, you might be able to just paste that U asset into your content folder, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to make anyways. It's just,
Yeah. You got this
a
blueprint
combina-
UE Pastebin. This is cool. You can paste blueprints in here. Really useful for sharing.
Okay. All right, I'll check that out and I'll share this stuff when I get a minute later.
Well, yeah,
All right.
awesome to meet you, Justin. Like, really cool to see what you're doing, and let us know how you get on with stuff. We could see what direction your stream takes, and
What's your YouTube, Justin? I'm curious. Check it out.
It's Gaming Club Germany. I'm mostly the German like vlogs and a little bit of funny moments of some of my gameplay. Nothing special. I also doesn't stream that much right now, but I want to stream more in the future, and I want to like have a special setup that not everybody has, and want to be as interactive as possible. So I just want everything at once, and just to like to make people laugh and just to give them a good time while watching.
Yeah, definitely. I think if there's any like, I mean, definitely love the idea of just trying to make it as maximalist as possible. You know, just get as much going on. See if we can break it, like performance-wise. But yeah, definitely. Any other like cool things you want to try out or anything like that? It'd be awesome to like. I always need ideas for things to test out for these kind of streams. So you know, this is perfect.
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. You can just ask me.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, yeah, I'll wrap up this stream for this week. But yeah, maybe catch you guys next week, or yeah, whenever you next have a thing you want to share or ask questions about, feel free.
Do you know what your next week's schedule is going to be?
Yeah, we're back on just like normal time, so it's gonna be this time, if that's cool.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be 3 p.m. UK time, every Thursday. That's pretty much the standard time. Just had a couple different ones past couple weeks, but yeah.
Right. Okay, good. Just wanted to check. Thanks, because I set my alarm. It's early here.
yeah. Appreciate you getting up early for it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for all your help, Tom, with that, the multi-map thing.
Oh yeah, no worries. I hope it was helpful.
I think very helpful. God knows what we would have made of. I mean, it didn't seem like an issue that was that easy to solve, you know? It's like, where do you start? So, yeah, very helpful.
Cool.
Yeah. Always good. Always good when you have the hardware as well. So useful to,
Underneath.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
And you.
Bye.
Bye.
Justin, that's awesome, by the way. You can see it in action, yeah. So I can totally see like you want that, but you want to be in front of it when it's physically behind you, kind of thing, right? Yeah. Interesting stuff to think about for next week. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you too.
Cheers. Catch you soon. Bye.